Welcome, folks. I am Jaby Koay. Trailer number 2 to John Wick 3, Parabellum, has dropped. Parabellum?
You have no idea what's coming.
Oh my, oh my.
Mr. Wick broke the rules. I trust you understand the repercussions if he survives.
John Wick, excommunicado, is now in effect. You shouldn't be here. Nice suit.
Good to see you too. I need your help.
After this, we are less than even.
Oh shit. Oh my god.
There's no escape for you. The high table wants your life.
Would you help set the mood for our new guest?
Let us begin.
Our service is still off limits to me. What do you need? Guns. Lots of guns.
Oh. Oh shit. He said it. He said the line from Matrix 1.
John Wick. You got a nasty surprise coming.
Oh damn.
I've been looking forward to meeting you.
Bark the Gus. Oh, goodness.
And so far, you haven't disappointed.
We can keep this up as long as you'd like. But this only
nice.
ends one way.
Are you goddamn kidding me with this? Are you goddamn kidding me with this?
All of this for what? Because of a puppy?
Wasn't just a puppy.
You goddamn right I'm watching that in IMAX. Oh my goodness. That looks great. You know what's really cool is like usually what you get is like these incremental improvements with each trailer where you see a lot from the first trailer and then in the second one it's like a lot of rehashing of what you saw before and then it's just a snippet more. I feel like there is a lot more in this trailer than there was in the previous one, and yet there's still a lot to see when you finally watch the movie, which is great. There's gonna be so much action in this. And so much cool action, like stuff we haven't seen before. That's what's getting me excited more than anything else, is that this is trying to explore things that we haven't seen too much in action. It's like, there was something I read, I think in a book called Save the Cat, where it's like, the same but different. The same but different is the phrase they kept using over and over again. And here, it's like, the same but really different. Like, you're getting more of John Wick, more of like John Wick style action, but really different from what you've seen before. The little things is what's so cool. The character moments, like when they're looking at each other in that, I don't know where they're at, this shop full of weapons. You know, the guy he's fighting looks at the wall and he hits it, he grabs a knife. John Wick does the same thing, hits it, grabs the knife.
I trust you understand the repercussions if he survives.
He's got this dude on the ground, he's throwing one knife after another at him. It looks so cool. I am so happy with this trailer. It's one of those visceral things. It just looks so freaking cool. The motorcycle stuff is bananas. I mean, I think, I would have to assume that that's all green screen stuff, like the way they shot the speeder fights in Star Wars Return of the Jedi. It still looks really cool, just the ideas that they're going for. I feel like the filmmakers asked, what haven't we done yet? What hasn't been done yet in an action film that we can do here? It almost reminds me of the challenges of Mission Impossible. It's like, okay, so where do you go next? Because I'm already thinking to myself, like, where do you go from here? Because this is apex, man. This is the top. Like, where can you go from here? And I'm sure they're already planning John Wick 4. They're already thinking about it. I'm glad they're giving Mark Dacascos speaking lines and he's not just, you know, fighting. There's a lot of martial arts films where you have these supervillains who just don't say anything. For some reason, the worst example is coming to my brain right now, which is RoboCop 3. There was this Asian supervillain in the movie, and he didn't say a goddamn thing in the whole film, but he was like this formidable fighter person. Here, you have this guy who's actually kind of a fan of John Wick, And he's like, you did not disappoint at all. I'm like, oh, this is really trippy. Like the whole underworld that they've built is so fascinating and so interesting, down to the currency that they use. Like, I find it all very intriguing, the way they've built that up and the way they keep expanding on it. And obviously, if it's established in the first film that John Wick is a very well-known person throughout the underworld, and he had abandoned that, etc., etc. And so now he's back again. I love that they did a callback to The Matrix. That made me really, really happy, because it's like, if you've been watching Keanu Reeves a long time, if you've been watching his films like I have, I've been paying attention to Keanu Reeves since Bill and Ted, since Point Break. Like, I've been watching him since I was a little kid. For him to call back to The Matrix, just, that moved me. I mean, there's a little part of me that still hopes that they'll go back and do more Matrix sequels to kind of make more sense of what the hell happened in Matrix 3. But yeah, I mean, just that little nugget. And add to the fact that you got Lawrence Fishburne in here, and it's like the first time they're working together in whatever it was, like 20 years or something like that. It's been, I mean, we're coming up on the 20-year anniversary of The Matrix. That's how old that movie is. That blows my mind. I can't believe The Matrix is almost 20 years old. It trips me out. That makes me feel old. I'm certain that makes Keanu Reeves feel even older, but he's moving. I mean, he's moving. I mean, he's still doing fight scenes and whatnot. Now, the next thing I want to see is John Wick versus Ethan Hunt. See that crossover film. How dope would that be? You know? Because they're both badasses. They're both really intelligent when it comes to strategy of fighting and whatnot. You know, let's see them use their brains against each other. That'd be cool. I don't know. One can dream, right? I think that'd be cool because they're both the same age. They're both like really badass. I think that'd be amazing. Come on, Lionsgate and Paramount, you guys can do it. Put your heads together and make a cool John Wick / Mission Impossible movie. They got some very interesting set design here. The fight scene between Mark Dacascos and Keanu Reeves is taking place in front, like in some kind of a high-rise in front of a cool, what is that? I don't know what that is. The point is that it looks different. It still has that kind of bluish green overtone that John Wick, the films generally have, but they're adding to it like this cool set design that we haven't seen in the previous installments. I'm very excited for this, to say the least, if that's not already abundantly obvious. I'm glad that they're taking this so much further than the second one even did. My only hope and concern, and because of John Wick 2, is that it completely abandons, I don't know, like, for some reason in John, like, there's a lot of people who like John Wick 2 more than 1. For me personally, I like John Wick 1 more. And I think it's because I felt more of the heart of the story in John Wick 1. When I go back and watch it, I notice that there's a lot of build-up before there's any actual action. And I guess that was necessary in order to kind of root you into John Wick's story, and there's a build-up to him coming back into the underworld, whereas John Wick 2 kind of basically leaves off, or picks up where John Wick 1 left off. And it's almost non-stop action from start to finish. And it felt like it was only focused on giving you lots of action from start to finish. I'm thinking that here they might go back to the root of the matter, what's the impetus for this whole thing to begin with, because there's this one shot here, 50 seconds in, where you see a picture of John Wick and his wife, along with some items, some belongings hidden inside of a book. You know, I forget what you call this, a false book of some kind. Just like in The Matrix. I'm really hoping that it doesn't lose the human element. There is the aspect of, like I mentioned earlier, Mark Dacascos telling him, like, I'm a huge fan of you, blah, blah, blah.
And so far, you haven't disappointed.
And the bit with Halle Berry, where there's some dialogue going on.
You shouldn't be here. Nice suit.
It's a character moment because she knew when she shot him that he wasn't gonna die, because he obviously had that suit.
Good to see you too.
Little things like that, I feel like they give these characters more depth. They make them more interesting. And I personally felt like I didn't get enough of that in John Wick 2. So this makes me, those little moments that they showed here in the trailer make me more excited for this film, because I'm hoping it kind of goes back to its roots while making it so much cooler with the action, if that makes any kind of sense. Anyway, I'm super stoked. I hope you guys are too. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Be honest, be verbose. Tell me your favorite Keanu Reeves lines in the comments below. It could be from The Matrix, or from John Wick, or from Bill and Ted, or from Point Break, or from Speed. I don't care. Or from The Devil's Advocate. or Walk in the Clouds, if you want to go that far back. I am Jaby Koay, thanks for hanging out. Please subscribe if you haven't already, check out our other reactions, reviews, and short films.